Hello, I am the Big O Jerry Ostrowski, and welcome to Overreaction Buffalo Daily, a daily content show where we will give you the latest news on the Buffalo Bills and everything that is happening at One Bills Drive. It is April 18th, and here's the latest news with the Buffalo Bills. Earlier Thursday morning, the Buffalo Bills released defensive tackle Brandon Beane. They also waived tight end Armani Rogers with a non-football injury. And usually when a team releases a few players like this, that means a move is imminent. They're probably getting ready to sign somebody, and that is just what the Buffalo Bills did. After these moves later in the day, the Bills signed former Buffalo Bill, former Los Angeles Ram, and former Baltimore Raven cornerback Tre White, who agreed to a one-year contract for $6.8 million. We don't have the breakdown of that contract. I would have to imagine that is heavily incentive laden and also not much guarantee money to get the former Pro Bowler, two-time Pro Bowl selection back in Buffalo. But Brandon Beane makes a move to bring back someone he knows very, very well into the mix as far as a possible running mate with Christian Benford at cornerback. A little background on Tre White. Tre White was a 2017 first-round pick and the first draft pick under head coach Sean McDermott. He was with the Buffalo Bills through the 2023 season. He was released the next offseason in part due to salary cap concerns and also injury concerns. He sustained multiple serious injuries his last few years in Buffalo. If you remember, came back from the ACL injury and then tore his Achilles tendon. White, the two-time Pro Bowler, as we said earlier, he split last season with the Los Angeles Rams and the Baltimore Ravens. Tre White's 7-year numbers. White's totaled 333 tackles, 18 interceptions, 73 passes defended, and 5 forced fumbles while he was playing for the Bills, Rams, and Ravens. In 2019, he tied for the NFL lead with 6 interceptions, and that's when he was selected as a first-team All-Pro. Some interesting things also came to light after this Tre White signing. Buffalo Bills sideline reporter and also WGR reporter Sal Capaccio, he reports that because of Tre White's post-June 1 release a year ago, the Bills must still count his $4.13 million worth of dead cap money against the cap this year, which is interesting. So if you look at the reported contract that White agreed to, the $6.8 million, and if you add the $4.13 million to that, it's a pretty good size number. We're over $10 million for a cornerback at the end of his career. Now, you can look at this however you want. They were going to have to pay that dead cap money anyway, whether he was on the team or he wasn't on the team. That money still had to be paid this year. Still going to count against the cap, so to speak. So when you look at this, you can huff and puff and say this is too much. But honestly, let's get to the contract breakdown. I'm not going to speculate other than I would imagine it has a lot of incentives in it, and it has probably not as much guaranteed money in it as you would think. Now, tomorrow we could be proven wrong. We could find out this whole thing is guaranteed. We don't know, but I would have to think with the cap considerations and considering that Brandon Beane and company were talking to, like yesterday, they had Bradbury in from the Eagles and had some other veteran cornerbacks that they were talking to. We talked about it on yesterday's daily report where Stephon Gilmore was even rumored to maybe be a person that could come to Buffalo. I'm sure they've done their homework with this whole cap situation and looking at Tre White's career, knowing the player knowing the defense. Spoke to Marlon Kerner earlier, former Buffalo Bill cornerback and friend of the show, friend of the network, said one of the things that Tre White will do for this football team is bring immediate and great leadership into the locker room. So that is something that is to be looked at as well. But like I said earlier, when you look at the market value, according to Sport Track, of over $11 million for Rasul Douglas, and Sport Track estimates that's what it would cost, or that's what his value is, it would seem that the Bills really didn't save any money with the Tre White signing, if you count that dead cap towards it. But I would have to think, and I will put my faith into Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, and the likes, that they've evaluated, they understand what's going on, and they know what type of player Tre White is. And we know, as Bills Mafia, we love our own. We love our former players. We always support them. This will be a very popular signing in the Bills Mafia community. A lot of people will be pulling for him. And when you bring him into this room now, this Bills cornerback room, if you look at it, you've got Christian Benford, obviously the cornerback one in this room. You got Terrion Johnson, you got Ingram, you've got Dane Jackson, you bring Tre'Davious White into the room, you have Hardy, and then you have Couch. That is your cornerback room right now at One Bills Drive. I still believe if the right corner is there at 30 and the Bills don't trade out of that spot, and maybe the defensive interior linemen that they covet are not there, the Bills will still spend that very high draft choice for a cornerback. Definitely a player that has, tremendous upside. We talked about him yesterday. Troy Amos is one of those types of players. Harrison from Kentucky is one of those types of players. There's many, many others. But what better than to surround this young kid that you probably are going to pick definitely in the top 2 rounds, and surround him with a guy like Tre White. Surround him like a guy like Jackson, veterans, these guys that can bring him up. Benford now been in the league a while. He is a vet, a proven winner. So I think besides the fact you bring in a veteran corner that if he can show glimpses and flashes of his former self, will upgrade over there. Then also the leadership potential and the learning potential for that young cornerback, or maybe even 2 that they draft with their picks this 2025 NFL draft. Look at the leadership and the learning situation that these guys will be in. I think it's a big-time signing. I think there's really no negative to this other than Tre White's age and Tre White's injuries in the past. That is it. Other than that, there are no negative connotations when it comes to this signing for the Buffalo Bills. So thanks for tuning in to the Overreaction Buffalo Daily show here on the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Network, powered by Believe. Just a quick programming note, Sunday is Easter, so we will not have our Overreaction Buffalo show on Sunday. John, Joe, and myself will come to you on Monday as we get ready and continue to break down that draft before Thursday night, as things get started Thursday night in prime time in Green Bay, Wisconsin for this 2025 NFL Draft. As always, folks, I appreciate you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, review the show, and tell your friends we're here because of you. As always, much love. Go Bills.